CollectAWrestlePalooza. CollectAWrestlePalooza.
Hello everyone, welcome to CollectAWrestlePalooza. This is a recent pickups video where I'm going to be featuring 3 cards that I've recently purchased. Starting on the left here, of course from the 1983 Wrestling All-Stars series. This is a Buddy Rogers card, and I was able to pick it up in a PSA 5. Now I paid $26 for this card, all in, including taxes, fees, and freight. There were 36 cards in this set, the 1983 version, including early Curt Hennig card, of course went on to be Mr. Perfect in the WWF, Jim Duggan. There's an Iron Mike Sharp in this set, which I think is pretty interesting. He was one of the early squash opponents in the WWF, similar to like the Brooklyn Brawler, jobbers who would always get beat. There's a Jake Roberts, Antonio Inoki, and a Matt Bourne, who in later years became Doink. But an interesting fact about Matt Bourne is he actually wrestled in WrestleMania 1. There's some managers in this set. Famous Jimmy Hart, Mouth of the South, Captain Lou Albano, and the Grand Wizard, to name a few. But notably absent in the 1983 Wrestling All-Stars were some of the bigger names like Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair, who appeared in the 1982 Series 1 or Series 2 sets, which are theoretically a little bit harder to find than the 1983 versions. I picked this up, and then I researched who Buddy Rogers was, and didn't realize what a huge name Buddy Rogers is in professional wrestling. He's the original Nature Boy. He used the figure 4 leg lock long before Ric Flair ever did. He battled notable legends like Lou Thesz, and here's a great fact about Buddy Rogers. He was the first WWF World Heavyweight Champion. Of course, WWF is now the WWE World Wide Wrestling Federation, I think was the extra W. And he held 13 championships in AWA, NWA, and the WWF. Now, he had his first match professional wrestling in 1939 and wrestled all the way through the 70s and 80s. Of course, the WWE Hall of Famer now, the class of 94. So I thought that was a great pickup for $26. Now, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you how much I paid for all of these cards, and comment below. Tell me how I did, if you think they were good buys, if you think that they were good investments. I bought these cards because I like them, but as always, I like to, make some money in my investments as well if I can. Second card here, a 1998 Bandai Dynamite Kid. I paid $46 for this, all in, including taxes, fees, and freight. At the same time as this one was for sale, there was a Davey Boy Smith for sale at about the same price, and I wish I'd picked that one up too. The auctions were both ending at the exact same time, and I unfortunately did not bid on the Davey Boy Smith. Regardless, I liked Dynamite Kid a lot better. So in the 1998 Bandai, there were 196 cards in that set, and they're stars of New Japan Pro Wrestling, including legends like Antonio Inoki, Tiger Mask, Great Muta. However, there's also some interesting cards like Don Frye, who was an early UFC competitor under the name The Predator. I think he won one of the early Ultimate tournaments. I believe he beat Tank Abbott. There's also some Big Van Vader cards in the set. There's a Lou Thesz, a Bruiser Brody, and Abdullah the Butcher, and Owen Hart, Andre the Giant, and also some WCW stars like Sting, Lex Luger, Ric Flair, Diamond Dallas Page, to name a few. Now, Dynamite Kid is, of course, one half of the British Bulldogs tag team of the 1980s, but unfortunately his partner, Davey Boy Smith, gets a lot of the credit due to his singles run after the British Bulldogs broke up. But Dynamite was the superior wrestler, and somewhat known as a wrestler's wrestler because of his athleticism in the ring. For instance, Bret Hart names him as an influence, another wrestler's wrestler who was a ring technician. Now, unfortunately, a big part of Dynamite's legacy is going to be his temper and his hot-headedness. He's known as a backstage bully, widely accepted to have had mental health issues, and also suffered many injuries in the ring, ultimately ending his career, sadly. But did hold many belts during his reign in New Japan and Stampede primarily. Now, Stampede was the organization run by the Hart family. And he also did hold the WWF Tag Team Championship one time as a British Bulldog with Davey Boy Smith. Now the final card here, the 1985 O-Pee-Chee Hulk Hogan #1. Paid $232 for this, all in, including taxes and fees. And I still think it was a good deal. Tell me what you think if you disagree. It's only a PSA 4, very good to excellent, but it is slabbed, authenticated. And for a PSA 4, I actually think it's kind of nice. One of the corners has an imperfection, the bottom left corner, but it's pretty well centered. And from what I hear, for some of the vintage cards, centering is a big issue. I think it's a 4, mainly because the edges are a little beat up and it's yellowing. But I think that's kind of nice for an old card to show some age, as opposed to creasing and off-centering and all that sort of stuff. So I like this card. I also neglected to mention before I move on here that, of course, this Dynamite Kid was a PSA Gem Mint 10. So back to the Hulk Hogan. The 1985 O-Pee-Chees were one of the first WWF licensed trading card sets, and arguably one of the most important wrestling card sets that exists today. The Series 1, which is a part of, had 66 cards, and this Hulk Hogan card is card #1 of the set, and it's the crown jewel of the set. This is the most important card within the O-Pee-Chees. There's another Hulk Hogan that's later on in the set with a blue background, but this yellow one is a little more sought after, even though the blue one is arguably a little bit rarer in the higher grades. The O-Pee-Chee version was produced in Canada. It's the same as the Topps version that was in North America, but there's a French writing on the back here. You can see that it has the English and the French. And then also it has the O-Pee-Chee in the copyright instead of Topps. So right here you can see that it says O-Pee-Chee and does not mention Topps anywhere. So I bought that card because it's a trademark card. I love Hulk Hogan, of course. Everyone loves Hulk Hogan, and particularly the early Hulk Hogan images back in the 80s. And this card is becoming one of the trademark cards of the entire hobby. It's an iconic image, and it reminds me actually of what the 52 Topps Mickey Mantle is to baseball cards. It's difficult to find this card in the O-Pee-Chee version, and that's why I picked it up. I found one that I could afford. All I could afford was a 4, but it was important to me to get one slabbed. And this is a long-term hold. This is not one I'm going to sell anytime soon. So that's it, guys. Those are 3 of my recent pickups. Tell me what you think. Tell me how I did. And as always, please be sure to like and subscribe this channel. I think I'm up to 12 subscribers now as I make this video, which is thrilling to me. I wasn't sure if I was even going to make it to 10. And as you guys like and subscribe and comment, it gives me motivation to continue to post videos every week. Have a great week, and we'll see you again.
CollectAWrestlePalooza. CollectAWrestlePalooza.